Hello race fans, I'm Wylie Wade and this is Wylie's Race Report. Hello race fans, I'm Wylie Wade and this is Wylie's Race Report for Saturday, August 29th, 2020. That's right, we are through the end of August already, if you can believe it. Hey, this upcoming weekend on Saturday, September 5th at Antioch Speedway, where action is the attraction, we have the Big Kahuna George Stites Freedom Series race number 3. That is right, the third and final race in this 3-race series. The first 2 were Memorial Weekend and the 4th of July weekend. In that weekend of racing, we're going to have the IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Sport Modifieds, and the J's Mobile Welding Hobby Stocks all in action for you. And you don't want to miss it. The only place you can see all the action is, of course, on Antioch Speedway TV. Go to AntiochSpeedway.tv and sign up and subscribe for this weekend's racing, the Big Kahuna George Stites Freedom Series race number 3. Want to say thanks to the Stites family and Stites Towing for sponsoring this 3-race series. This past weekend at Antioch Speedway on the 29th of August 2020, we had 4 classes in action, including the Super Stocks, Tri-State Pro Stocks with a special show. The wingless sprint cars were there, the Delta Dwarf cars, and the Valley 4-bangers. With the 4-bangers, Jess Palladino took home the win over yours truly. We'll get into that a little bit later on. In the Delta Dwarf cars, Spanky took home the win. That's Mike Rennert driving the 12 in. He took home that main event win for the Delta Dwarf cars. The wingless sprint cars saw DJ Johnson take home another win on this 2020 season. And in the Super Stocks, Tri-State Pro Stocks, we had a 24-car field for night 1 of a 2-night special series for the Tri-State Pro Stocks. They ran on Petaluma on Sunday. But on Saturday night, Richard Brace, driving the 401K, took home the main event win. Some changes to our website, a lot of changes, but if you want to check things out on the results schedule page, it now takes you to another website. If you go to www.antiochspeedway.com, up on the top bar, click on results schedule. It's going to take you over to the website My Race Pass. My Race Pass is new. We just signed up for it. It's a great place to go. It's going to give you all the lineups, all the entries, all the finishing orders, all that good stuff coming up on My Race Pass. You can also, of course, there's an app for it. Download the app so you can go on Saturday nights when we're racing. Before we have things out on the racetrack, you can even look on the app and say, oh, look, my favorite driver's there tonight. It'll give you all that information. When we get to the point where we have the live timing and scoring, that will also be on the app. So it's free. Go get it. My Race Pass. That's the place to be for all the stats and stuff, the lineups and stuff on My Race Pass. We've been talking about the IMCA stock cars coming to Antioch Speedway for the 2021 season. Well, guess what? Just announced a couple days ago, we're going to give you a sneak peek. That's right. The IMCA stock cars have been added to the Bill Bauer Memorial Race on October 2nd and 3rd. So the IMCA stock cars, if you have one, you want to come race, you want to see what they look like, you can watch it all on Dirt Oval TV. That weekend is a special event. From what I understand, there's going to be some star factor to that event. I can't give any more details right now, but pay attention. That one is going to not be on Antioch Speedway TV. That is a special paid event on Dirt Oval TV. So that's the place to be for that weekend. But this weekend, of course, Antioch Speedway TV is the place to be. So over my 28-year career as a race announcer, I've been able to interview tons of NASCAR stars, IMSA stars, Trans Am stars, lots of different racing personalities, owners, drivers, crew chiefs. I've been able to interview movie stars, TV stars, musicians, politicians, just all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life that you would know if I started naming names. This week, I have to say, for my weekly interview, is the most interesting interview, or maybe the weirdest interview. Not because of what this person in it says, not because he's like the most interesting person in the world, not because he's famous, not because he's done anything special. It was interesting or weird just because of who he is. I give you myself. This week, my special guest is me, Wylie Wade. Take a look. Today I'm here with myself, Wylie Wade. First of all, Wylie, you're looking great.
Well, thanks, Wylie. You look good too. Thanks for having me on.
First thing I want to ask is, what's your racing background? What's your racing history?
My racing background starts back in 1986 is when I first got my hands involved in racing, besides just watching it on TV. Watkins Glen International, it's their first year after reopening. They were getting ready to have a NASCAR race in August of that year, and in June of that year they had what was called the Firestone Firehawk Series. It was a streetcar series basically, with 3 divisions in it. And Burger King, if you bought a meal or something, you got a free ticket for this race, and it was a 24-hour race. I was 16 years old, didn't have my driver's license quite yet, still trying to get my driver's ed done, but had my motorcycle, so hopped on my motorcycle and went up to Watkins Glen to watch the 24-hour race. Get up there walking around the paddock area on Friday before the race and met a team out of Daytona Beach, Florida. I can't quite remember their name, but they were driving a Dodge Omni, if you remember what one of those was, a little hatchback. And after talking to them for a little bit, I noticed they didn't have a whole lot of guys around, and I'm not one to shy away from asking if people need help. And so I asked them if they needed any help. They said, sure. So they snuck me into the pit area, and I worked for them for the 24-hour race, had a blast. Went back in August for my first NASCAR race, and absolutely just pulling into the racetrack and seeing the first Winston Cup car, as they were called back then, go by. It's like, this is what I want to do. I want something to do with this. And the next year I got hooked up with another Firestone Firehawk team, Speakman Racing, out of just outside Baltimore, Maryland. I helped them out for a couple years in that race as well, doing those 24-hour races. That was a lot of fun. That led to, in 1989, prior to the Winston Cup race, Bud at the Glen it was called back then, each night from Monday through Friday, a different city in the area around Watkins Glen had a race show where Winston Cup cars would come in and for show cars, and you have driver autograph sessions and whatnot. And the Horsehead show, I believe, was a Tuesday or Wednesday night of that week. Dave Marcus was one of the drivers at this event that I went to, and I got to talking to one of his crew guys that ended up being his crew chief. And just in conversation, again, I said, hey, you guys need any help this weekend? If you're not sure who Dave Marcus was, he was an old independent. He was the last of the independents back in the day. He always raced with wingtip shoes on. Did a lot of work with Richard Childress Racing, kind of their test team, so to speak. But anyway, the crew chief said, come back to tomorrow night's show and I'll let you know. So I went back the next night down in Elmira in New York, and he said, yeah, Dave said, come on in. So I ended up volunteering for Dave Marcus whenever I could get to a race, mainly at Watkins Glen, Pocono, for 5 years. In the midst of that, in 1990, my would-be, soon-to-be first wife and I met somebody and got to know her family. And her dad had a DIRT dirt race car in upstate New York. And I was offered the opportunity in April of 1990 to drive that car at Evans Mills Speedway. Here I was, 20 years old, never driven a race car, and driving a modified up in Evans Mills, just outside of Watertown, and had a blast. Absolutely loved it. Crashed my first time out as it was April, the ground was still thawing, and a big hole developed in turn 3, and my steering broke when I hit it during the main event, and just nowhere to go, head on into the wall. But had an absolute blast. I did well enough that I was asked later in the year to substitute for another car. So that was my first couple driving experiences. My parents lived right next to a race shop. It was, well, technically it wasn't a race shop. It was part of a car dealership, an outbuilding they had that one of their employees used to run his dirt modifieds out of. And I got to know them and started helping them out every week, going to Black Rock Speedway and Woodhull Raceway, and just had a blast doing that. Got an opportunity at one point for another friend to run his car at Woodhull Raceway in a mechanics race, which had a blast doing that. Woodhull Raceway, that place is amazing. Real high bank, dirt oval, and just absolutely love that. Later on in the 2000s, I continued, got into radio, and we'll get into that in a minute, but later on in the 2000s, 2007, I bought a Dwarf car and ran that for a season, but due to family issues, being a single dad, I wasn't able to continue having two kids as a single dad and do the race car, so I had to give that up.
How'd you get into race announcing?
How did I get involved in race announcing? Well, let's start back a little bit. It's something that I absolutely love doing, and I started out performing in public when I was around 4 years old, getting up on stage in church and singing, and in school singing, and doing plays and whatnot. So I've always been in front of people, and it's never, band. I was in band, of course, and choir, and just had a lot of fun and enjoyed being in front of people performing. And in high school, me and 3 friends had a DJ business. We'd DJ some dances. And then I told you about working for Dave Marcus. Well, in 1991, July of 91, I was getting ready to go down to Pocono for the second race of the year. And I called up the local radio station. Dave Rockwell was his name. He was a program director, but he had what was called the Rockwell Motorsports Report. It was a 5-day-a-week during the race season covering local racing. And he did some NASCAR stuff as well. So I just called him up and said, hey, I'm going down to Pocono. Here's what I'm doing. Can I call you in any information? He said, sure. And he gave me a number said, call in and record it. So I did and went down. And while I was down there, I also got into helping Bob Brevac on a side note in the 1990 ARCA champion. So in 91, I went down and he needed a spotter. And he was friends with Dave Marcus, and they ended up putting me up on the roof. So I got to spot a number of times for Bob Brevac. So that was a lot of fun. But anyway, back to the story. When I got back from Pocono, I got a phone call from Dave Rockwell. He said, can you come down and see me? And I said, sure. I went down and saw him. And he offered me a job to work at the radio station. And so I started in radio there at the summer of 91, and the following year when NASCAR came back around, we were broadcasting from the racetrack. And as time went on, I did that, broadcasted from Watkins Glen International for 21 years, to the point where the last number of years we had a studio at the racetrack. I got to interview all the NASCAR drivers and a lot of stars and politicians and stuff. That it was just a whole lot of fun. So that's how I got my start in announcing.
So how did you end up at Antioch Speedway?
I ended up at Antioch Speedway back in 2012 or 13. The radio station I had been working for 22 years, so in 2013, 22 years, changed direction in how they were doing Watkins Glen. And the following year, so they told me they didn't need me that year, but the following year they got out of racing completely is what they were working towards. But in 2014, my son and I, Zach, went out to Antioch just to watch the races in June of that year. And at the end of the night, I went up and introduced myself to John Myers, my predecessor at Antioch, and just kind of gave him my background and stuff, just talking with him. And he told me, well, next time you're here, come on up, I'll throw you on the mic for a race. So we went back the next week, and he didn't kick me out, invited me back, and I ended up doing working with him most of the rest of that season. And in August, he said, you know what, I'm going to take my first summer vacation I've had in 20 years. You can handle it. And he went on vacation. I did the last race before Labor Day. In 2014, we didn't run Labor Day. And so I did the race. We had the Labor Day weekend off, and he was gone for 2 weeks, came back. And as my memory serves, he didn't say, hi, how'd it go? He didn't say, ask me how it went. He just came up, said, congratulations, you're the new announcer at Antioch Speedway. And I was like, wow, okay. That was not my goal at that point in time. I thought maybe if at some point in time, maybe when he decided to get out, I could be there and step in and fill his shoes. I didn't realize it was going to happen that quickly. And to make sure he couldn't be talked out of it when he was there. If you don't know the story, he bought a house and moved back to where he grew up. So I got into Antioch thanks to John Myers after letting me test out my skills there at the short track, it is definitely different than announcing at a road course like Watkins Glen International, where I'd done before.
You have a new racing adventure that you just started this past weekend. Why don't you tell me about that?
So my latest racing adventure, well, you see it right here. A week and a half ago, from where I'm talking to you right now, I bought this four-banger. I want to say thanks to Tom Climans Jr. and Trevor Climans. They hooked me up, sold me the car and the trailer, and I have driven, like I've talked about many times before, and was kind of settled that it wasn't going to happen anytime soon. But then, thanks to Cameron Swank, it's all his fault, I'm going to blame him. Last year, 2 different times he let me drive his Sport Modified, and it just got that bug back in me. So I've kind of been, when I heard the four bangers are coming back, it's been, ooh, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it, and I really want to, and the reason we're having this discussion today is I'm really promoting the four-banger division. I really want to see this division take back off. Back where I'm from in upstate New York, northern Pennsylvania, they have strong, back when I was there, they had a strong four-banger style activity going on. And it's a great place to start. If someone is looking to get into racing but they don't have a ton of money, a four-banger is an awesome choice. It doesn't take a ton of money to go racing. You buy a four-cylinder car, you gut it out, add a roll cage, get a racing seat, get the safety gear, get the window net, and go racing. It's not high dollar. You can't go out and spend a bunch of money on the engine. You can't go out and buy all kinds of fancy suspension parts. You got to run the stock stuff. And it's a great place, and they are a blast to drive. Growing up in the Northeast, I grew up in northern Pennsylvania, and so I grew up playing in the snow. And so I ran it, so I bought it a week and a half ago on Sunday, thrashed on it all last week. On Friday night, thrashed up till after midnight. Hopefully didn't bother my neighbors too bad. Got up early Saturday, thrashed on it some more, and finally loaded it on this trailer and pulled away to go to the racetrack at 1:30 Saturday afternoon. Didn't do a lot of stuff we should have done, but wanted to get it on the racetrack. And so we did. My goals were to A, finish the race, not hit anything, not spin out. I accomplished those 3 goals. Wish it had run better, had a little bit of motor problems I got to fix. It's when I step on the gas, it's bogging down, but that's okay. I got on the racetrack. Now I want to get you on the racetrack. If you don't have another race car that you're racing and you're interested in racing, there are four-bangers around that you can buy. It's not hard to build one. You can buy them fairly cheap. You can build them fairly cheap. Again, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's not expensive. You can put as much money as you want on a four-cylinder car. You don't have to buy an expensive one. This was not an expensive race car, but it runs well, runs fast. It just had a little issue. I think hopefully just fuel filter. We'll find out. But anyway, I really want to push these four-bangers, and you will have fun if you're looking to get into a race car and you don't have a ton of money but you want to race. This is the place to be. Here's my four-banger. The 714 is in reference to my family. The 7 and the 14 combined all work. My wife, my kids, our birthdays in some way or another all equal 7, involve a 7, or equal 14. So that's why we chose 714. So look forward to seeing you out on the racetrack. Go get yourself a four-banger and let's go have some fun.
That was Wylie Wade. Okay, folks, I decided to have a little bit of fun with my interview this week. The biggest thing I'm working on here is getting people interested in the four-banger, the mini stock division, if you want. We may not be the fastest cars, we may not be the prettiest cars, we're definitely not the most expensive cars. That's the important thing. There's a lot of people that want to go racing that think they can't afford it. Valley four bangers, mini stocks are cheap for racing. You just get yourself a four banger, follow the rules in the rule book. You gut it, you put a roll cage, seat belts, get a driving suit, helmet, shoes, and gloves. Basically, that's it. And you can go racing. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun out there in those Valley four bangers. So I know there's a lot of people that have them around that haven't raced at the Antioch Speedway for a while for various reasons. You know, under the new promoters, Chad and Tina, we're trying to bring these things back. And I'm a big proponent of it. You have to have a starter division at a racetrack, or the racetrack is going to die in the long run, because you have to build people up. So take a look at these four bangers. You know, that's why I went out and bought one. Take a look at them, and if you're interested, let me know. I'll help you. I'll see if I can find anybody, you know, or I can answer questions maybe, or at least point you in the right direction. But let's build this four banger division up and let it be as big and strong as our hobby stock division is here at Antioch Speedway. That gives us two good starter divisions to feed into our other divisions that we have at the racetrack. Don't forget, this upcoming weekend, can you believe it, 5th of September? Where has this year gone, even though it is so weird of a year? The Big Kahuna George Sykes Freedom Series race number 3, the third and final race of the season for this 3-race series with the IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Sport Modifieds, and the Jay's Mobile Welding Hobby Stocks, all in action on this Saturday night, September 5th, 2020. And the only place to see all the action is on Antioch Speedway TV. That's right, go to AntiochSpeedway.tv, AntiochSpeedway.tv, subscribe, and see all the action on Saturday night. It is going to be a great night of racing. Up next, here's a replay of my pit walk on Saturday. Had the opportunity to talk to David Michael Rosa and Dynamite Dave Rosa and Jim Freethy. Take a look. Hello race fans, I'm Wylie Wade, and this is a Wylie's Race Report live drop-in pit walk. We're pit walking it here today. Right now out at Antioch Speedway, where action is the attraction. The Rosa boys unloading their cars. They got both of them here tonight after having this one here blow a motor about a month ago now, huh?
Yeah, back at the regional.
So,
yeah.
David Michael Rosa, congratulations on the birth of your little one. Why don't you tell us about it?
He was born August 10th at 242. He was 5 pounds, 14 ounces, 18 3/4 inch long. Been a lot of sleepless nights.
This your first child?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sleeps, you'll learn to sleep again someday.
Yeah, it's like his schedule's reverse of ours.
Yeah, yeah. So how's Grandpa liking it over there?
It's all right.
It's all right? Ready to get back on the track? You missed the last one.
Didn't get my son started on in time, so I grabbed mine, but didn't want to do that by himself. So I woke up and went now.
There you go.
I don't miss it. You know?
You can race or not race?
I've been racing a long time, so I'm just here to let the boy race and take over.
All right. Well, yeah, I love the color of your car this year.
Thank you. I wanted to go with something different.
Kind of matches my shirt, actually. But actually, I got a race car down the street, down the other end now, and it's purple as well. So
What do you got?
I just bought a 4-banger.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, just gonna have a little fun. Like I said, I'm promoting this class. I want to see the 4-bangers catch on. I think it's a great starter division.
Are they gonna have them next year?
Supposed to.
Supposed to?
Yep. So we got some more people building them and buying them. So there'll be more. So
There are a
that's
couple
good.
people building some too.
That's good. Get a couple new classes out here.
Oh yeah.
You gonna stick with the dwarf cars?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like these things.
These are fun. I had one for a season.
So I do miss the modified every now and then.
Yeah.
But these things, man, they're just so agile. They keep you on your toes.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like driving a modified. Everything's all open wheeled. Modified, only the front's open wheeled, but
A lot lighter.
yeah.
A lot lighter. Well, cool. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Slide over here. Jim Freethy. Driver of the 99 Super Stock. Gonna invade his space here in the trailer. Jim!
Hey, how you doing?
We're live on Facebook. Say hi.
Hello, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
So, y'all set for tonight?
We are ready to go.
Ready to have some fun?
Yes, absolutely. Got a good car count, excited.
What it is about this style of car you like? Because you ran the limiteds and then you moved over to super stocks. What is it about these cars you like?
Well, it's the same car. They just keep changing the name.
Yeah.
But it's the big horsepower. It's the gentleman drivers. It's the seasoned drivers that really make this division good.
You are one that is almost always in the battle at the front of the pack.
That's what we like to be.
You know, this car wins races. This car runs up front. A lot of work in the week leading up to the race.
Absolutely. Jobs are won at the shop, not at the track.
Yeah.
Preparation, making it right. Although we've been struggling, but we're going to get it.
Now, are you going to do both days this weekend? Over at Petaluma tomorrow?
No, I'm not going to Petaluma.
Not going to Petaluma?
No.
Just going to come out and win tonight and be done.
I hope so.
All right.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
Jim Freethy, driver of the 99 Super Stock. Thanks very much. As we continue our pit walk here at Antioch Speedway, getting set for racing. Coming up in a little bit, don't forget Antioch Speedway TV is the place to be for all the racing action live and direct from Antioch Speedway, due to we still can't have spectators, of course. But tonight we got, as you saw, we got the Delta Dwarf cars, we got the Super Stocks, Tri-State Pro Stocks. It is a special event for the Tri-State Pro Stocks, as they're having a 2-day show tomorrow at Petaluma. We got the wingless sprint cars here. Lots of wingless sprint cars. And we got the four bangers. Again, if you're looking at getting into racing and you're not sure about the money and stuff, you can always get a four banger, because it is, for racing, inexpensive. You can go racing fairly cheap with a four banger. James Thomson,
Yes, sir.
being you're walking up in the camera view, you're not racing tonight, so what are you doing here? Driver of the 18T Jay's Mobile Welding Hobby Stock.
We're just here bouncing around, helping a few guys out, and out here supporting the track. You know, even when our class isn't here, we're out here supporting, doing our part.
So you got to race next week?
We do.
Cars ready, or you still have work to do?
We got all the bearings tore apart right now, going through regular maintenance schedule right now. You know, you gotta keep up on it. Everybody thinks hobby stock's just kind of bring it out and have fun, and you can do that, but it takes a lot of work and maintenance throughout the week to be up there and run up front with a lot of these guys.
A suggestion for you?
Yeah.
Make sure the exhaust is attached.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're working on that part.
You know, losing the race because you dropped your exhaust system on the road or on the track.
I'm building the suspense.
Wait until he gets the checkered flag this year. He'll get one.
Oh, you have been close. You've been running strong. You're one of the fastest cars each and every week you're out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been bridesmaid 3 times in a row. Second place. So.
You know, it's
Last week though was quite the clinic when he started 16th and finished second. And
yes.
Yeah,
That was a heck of a run up through the field.
sure was.
Yeah.
32 car field,
Yeah.
or 32 cars here with 21 starting the main. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great run.
Yeah, we went from broken the heat race, went to the B main, started back in the B, won the B main, started back in the feature, and worked our way up. You know, I learned a lot about patience on that race. Something I've been working on is trying to stay calm in the race car, and last week that was definitely a learning experience. You know, I'm still learning. I'm not fully there yet, but I picked up a lot of experience last week.
You have one of my favorite stories I tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. That race, the heat race last year, where you crossed the start-finish line and didn't make turn 1 because your car died.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that the water pump broke that night.
Yeah.
Put a hole in the radiator, and that was just put that motor together and stuff too. We were talking about rushing to get it out there, but it's, you know, we'll let it go. We'll fix it right.
All right, James Thomson, driver of the 18T and the Jay's Mobile Welding Honda Stock. Good luck next week when you come back out, but thanks for being here supporting the racers here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was my pit walk on Saturday night at Antioch Speedway. That's going to do it for this episode of Wylie's Race Report. Until next time, I'm Wylie Wade. Good night, everybody. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. 3, 2. Hold on. 3, 2. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2.